Hi, I'm Susan McConnell, your LinkedIn for the Reserved Champion. And thanks for joining us here today. If you're here, let us know, comment, tell us where you're from, and tell us if you have any marketing challenges, or if none of that, put a thumbs up in the chat. Just love to hear from you. I host this conversation every Tuesday, and I bring in different experts from my community to help you all find actionable ways to improve your business, and so that we can all, what I say, be fabulous today. Before I introduce my guest, Ed, I'm going to do a quick LinkedIn tip. I'm going to start doing that every week because people are liking it, and it's very helpful. So the first one, and I just added it into a new course I'm going to be coming out with soon, so we'll talk about that at some point too, is it's an audio greeting, and it's on your phone that you can do that. It sits right next to your name on your LinkedIn profile. There's a little speaker, and it's an audio greeting, and you have 10 seconds to do a little bit of an introduction of yourself, or pitch something quick, or do a call to action where it gives someone a second way of getting to know you on a second level. They hear your voice, they now can read your profile and contact you. So I don't know if you can see this, so we'll try it, but it's right there on your phone. And if you have trouble doing it, you can DM me, and I'll help you through the steps. And you can do it more than once, because it took me a while to get mine right, and I'm still working on it. It's always about, what is it? Not perfection, it's about progress. Get it done, right? So today, my guest is Ed McDonough. Ed is an Amazon best-selling author and the founder and CMO of ECE Marketing Services. Ed specializes in what's called closed-loop marketing business systems, which deliver measurable return on investments. He currently helps professional service providers, consultants, marketing teams to plan, implement, and enhance practical, I can't even talk today, marketing strategies that save time, money, increase engagement, and consistently bring in more sales. And I can say that Ed has helped me quite a bit. Even one, understand it and understand why people should be doing it. And people should be doing it because you shouldn't find your business only one way. Right, Ed?
Absolutely, Susan.
Yeah.
Right.
So let me get on this I have a comment already. So let's get to the comments.
So first, let me say thanks for having me on today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. It's always great. Like I said, you have a lot to offer, and a lot of businesses can do. Hey, there's Josh. He said hello. And if you do have questions,
Hey,
like
Josh.
I said, put them in the chat. Ed, before we get going with some of the questions I want to ask you, tell me, I kind of high level, kind of what problems you kind of help your clients muddle through. What is it about your services that they say, oh my gosh, I never knew this?
Yeah. So the real thing that we do is everybody's heard the expression "know, like, and trust," right? And it's you have to build that factor. But before you can get to the trust part, you have to get to the relate part. So I call it know, like, and relate. And the thing that's really important about that is, in order to get an ice cold prospect or even a warm prospect to want to pay attention to you and take the next step, they have to relate to you in some way. And so that's really what we specialize in. I am a trained copywriter, and my specialty is sales copy, getting people to say to themselves, "This is for me, and I want to take the next step and learn more." And that's really my specialty. So we help people, generate leads and convert those ice cold leads into prospects, and then push them through, the funnel to the point where they can get, you can have a conversation with them and see if it's a fit for both parties.
Yeah, it's great. And from the sales side and my background in sales, when I first started, it was 3-4 touches and you'd get in touch with somebody. But today it's upwards of like 24.
Yeah, and we're really trying to reduce that. We're trying to get it to go back the old way. And when you can get to that know, like, and relate stage, it kind of reduces that, so that the person's, right up front, the person's saying, this is somebody I need to either talk to or investigate or learn more about. And that's really what we're trying to do. We're just trying to move that needle a little bit, so that so that it reduces those amount of touches.
Exactly. And I know the way that you do it. So maybe we'll jump right into that. So what is it that or what is the difference? And I know you're going to talk about your case studies, so I'm going to let you do it.
Yeah, so the thing about case studies is there's a lot of versions of them out there. A lot of times they're kind of, I want to say they're like a mini white paper where it's information about the company and about the client that they helped, but it's more informational. The kind of case studies that we do are in story format. So again, I'm a trained copywriter, and stories sell. Everybody loves a good story. It's why they'll watch a 2-hour movie from beginning to end without even moving, because if the story is there and it relates to you and it's something that you love, you're just going to pay attention to it. So we use case studies in that way. We write a little story that explains the solution the client was having, the solution that you provided, and the results they got. And we put it into a format where it's really just one typed written page long. If you were going to print that out, it'd be on one piece of paper. But it gets the person to relate to what you're doing. It gets them to say to themselves, this is for me, and I want to learn more. I want to take the next step. And that's all that case study is trying to do. Mm-hmm. And quite frankly, they work extremely well. It's amazing how when you put 1 or 2 case studies in front of somebody, they really want to engage with you and learn more.
Right. And so they're a little bit different than testimonial.
Yeah.
And so, what is that difference?
Yeah. So, testimonials are awesome. Everybody should be using them. And quite frankly, we use them in our case studies as well. It's something that we put in there. Mm-hmm. A testimonial, in the marketing terms, is what we call social proof or third-party validation. It's someone else saying something nice about you or your company. And they're extremely powerful. The case study takes that a little bit further because it puts the story behind it, right? It puts the story behind the testimonial. Why is this person saying this nice thing about me? Well, because here's the problem they had, here's the solution that the company provided, and here's the exact results they got. And that's not always clear in a testimonial. So again, that's another thing that makes the case study powerful. The other thing I want to mention too is that case studies are evergreen. So a case study you create today is going to work for you 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, because it's the exact results you got from a client that was having an issue.
Yeah, that's very true. Like it doesn't have to be dated because it is a success, and
right.
And a success is a success. You just build upon it and make more case studies as you move along. It's great.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So, what is the most effective way to use a case study in one's marketing strategy to generate leads?
Yeah. So, what we recommend is creating, 4 or 5 case studies for the specific industry that you work in. So, I know there are companies. I was just on the call with somebody earlier today. They work in a lot of different industries, and like anything in marketing, the more targeted you are with your marketing message, the better you're going to relate to the prospect and get them to take the next step. So create 4 or 5 case studies that are in the particular industry you work in or particular vertical, if you work in multiple industries or verticals, and then put those case studies into the hands of the people that are in those industries who are most likely to be your customers. Now, one of the ways we do that is through email. We have a complete email marketing case study system that we use, and we send multiple messages out over 1 month period talking about the case studies that we've created. So that's one great way to use them. But here's kind of a secret. I'm going to let your audience in on this.
Ooh, love it.
Case studies should be used all the time. So let's say you're at a networking event and you meet somebody, and it could be virtual or in person, and you're going to have a one-on-one follow-up with them. They're a good prospect for what you do. Well, guess what? A day or 2 before that meeting, email them a case study and let them see how you've helped somebody just like them solve the same problem they have, right? So that when you get on the call, you're really not talking about if you're the right fit or not. You're talking about when can we get started and how much does it cost, right? So, you have a sales background. It just kind of shortens that sales cycle because you're already putting proof and information in front of them that shows you can help them.
Yeah, that's actually true. And I need to start doing that more because you're right. It does shorten the sales cycle. And if you send it in advance, and another thought too is if you're having a nice little direct message discussion on LinkedIn with somebody, you can also pop in a case study there as well.
Yeah,
Or
the only thing is I always on LinkedIn,
ask.
I always recommend, get permission first.
Hmm.
Just,
Yeah,
hey, Susan, I just did this case study that, shows how we help the client just like you. Would you be interested in taking a look at it? And when and I know you teach this stuff too, but when you ask permission first, it gives them
yeah,
the opportunity to say no. And guess what? They're more likely to say yes.
absolutely. Put a
And I
no
know
in front of them.
you taught me that stuff, Susan. So I'm
It's
just
true.
I'm just
Go for no.
right. I'm just
Well, yeah, it's
following what the
usually,
master has.
I
Yeah,
know. Well, when I'm speaking with somebody and I'm trying to, get them to meet, I always tell them up front, I go, I may be able to help you, but I might not be able to help you
right.
because it gives them that feeling that like I'm not going to help them unless I know I can help them. And it's a good feeling because they know they can opt out and it's always good to ask. You don't
Yeah,
just
and I'm
blow
sorry.
messages at people because that comes off as spammy because you don't even know if they need that case study yet. You've got to have the relationship and develop.
Exactly. The case
Yeah,
studies will also help you qualify people too, because if you
absolutely.
put a case study in front of somebody and it's not for them, then they're not going to follow up with you. And great, you haven't wasted any more time with them.
Exactly. They stay in your community and you
Yep.
never know. You never know when they resurface. And there's always, people lurking. There's, you know, 89% of the people on LinkedIn are not even active. So if you throw a case study in front of somebody and then you don't talk to them for another year, it's probably because they haven't been on.
Right.
So you never know when they're going to come back, and you never
Right.
know where they're going to see your information. So
Yep.
yeah. So we talked a little bit about it as a pre-sales tool. Is there any other ways to use it as a pre-sale tool? I'm just trying to think.
Well, another way that you can use it is actually through snail mail. So find a bunch of companies you want to target, see who the right person is, print that case study out because it's just a one page type document, put it in an envelope and mail it to the person. And here's a little secret: if you handwrite the person's name and address on the envelope, and just put your return address on the envelope, not your company name, it's like a 95% chance that letter is actually going to get to them because it looks personal and they're going to actually open it and read it. So it's a very, very effective way to use case studies. Another way is we've actually had a client who's put them on a postcard and emailed and snail mail the postcard out. So, there's a lot of different ways to use it. Anytime that you've scheduled especially professional service providers, anytime that you've scheduled an appointment to talk to somebody, before that appointment,
Yep.
somehow, some way, get a case study in their hands. They're just so powerful when they're used that way. And most people don't. A lot of companies, they'll spend a ton of money to get case studies done and they put them on their website. They don't use them as a marketing or a pre-sales tool. And I think that's a big mistake.
Yes, it is. And you said something that also sparked something, and you can't just do one method to get business these days. You can't maybe even do two. You have to have a strategy and you have to do multiple ways. And
Yeah.
you know many different ways. Yeah, you specialize in email marketing, but yet other ways to help people. So it's kind of nice to be able to pick someone's brain about strategy when they know multiple strategies. Yeah, you're competent in an expert in one, but yet know enough about several others to be able to help someone as well. And I feel that same way about me, and that's what makes us great people to connect with, because like I said, I will tell someone if I can't help them, and if I can't help them, I'm going to turn them over to you, or I'm going to turn them over to someone in my network that I know is can help them. And that's kind of the beauty of all of the relationships and getting in touch and knowing that you have to do it multiple ways.
Yeah, absolutely. Multiple touches through multiple medium is highly, highly effective. So you can even follow up, the snail mail with a phone call. Hey, I sent you this,
Imagine that.
letter in the mail the other day. Did you get it? Or you can do it with email. So there's multiple ways to do it. The thing is to be doing something putting a system in place. And that's really what we're about, is building these systems so that they're evergreen, they work over and over again, and they're in your business generating leads while you're out doing all the other stuff, doing referral networking, being on people's podcasts, stuff like that. So it's so important to have a strategy behind what you do.
Oh, it's definitely important to have that strategy. So tell us about one of your case studies. Tell us about how you helped somebody.
Yeah. So one of my clients came to me. He's a professional service provider. He's what's called a fractional vice president of sales. And so rather than a company pay the salary to have a full-time vice president, sometimes what they'll do is they'll bring Scott in, and they will he'll work with their sales team 10 hours a week, or 20 hours a month or something, whatever it is, to help them generate more sales for their business. And so Scott came to me and said, "Hey, look, I want another platform where I can generate leads." And actually, Susan, you referred him to me, so thank you for that. And so we built the case studies for Scott and did an email campaign for him, and he generated over $60,000 in sales from one campaign. So
that's incredible. Yes, and I do know Scott very well, and he's very good at what he does. And what's interesting about even relationships and talking about even referral, which is definitely another way, and a great way, and a lot of people sort of almost rely on it too heavily. But he and I are somewhat similar. We we help customers similarly, if you really think about it, but yet we have so much that we do differently, that it's knowing when to turn someone over to Scott, or Scott knowing when to have me help somebody. That kind of makes your whole community, and it's kind of like building a whole team around a company, because then they know that you have their best interest at heart. And that's kind of it's a good feeling, to do that way.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah. I don't see any major questions. I'm just trying to think what else we can chat about. We talked about marketing. We talked about sales. I don't know. Do you have anything else you want to add, Ed?
Yeah. So let me offer this out to the audience. If someone wants to learn more about case study marketing, I have a free guide that they can go and sign up for. So it's at casestudymarketingsystem.com. casestudymarketingsystem.com. You can go there, sign up for the free guide. There's even a template that you can use to download, to use for your case study. So it's a quick read. It's a really short guide, but it'll give you all the concepts that we talked about here today.
It was casestudymarketingsystem.com. Done. I put it in the chat.
Awesome.
And as always, you can reach out to Ed here on LinkedIn.
Yes.
And that's the best way. Message him. And through email, and I will put his email in the comments as well, so that you can reach out. And this has been great conversation. And make sure everybody to join me every Tuesday at noon, because I bring on definitely different guests every week. I'm not entirely sure who I have for next week, but I think I have open space. I'm going to have to find somebody awesome. So if you have any suggestions, or you want to jump on my show, message me. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week, and let's all be fabulous today. Bye. Thanks, Ed.